When you approach a railroad crossing without flashing warning signals or crossing gates, you should A. Cross the tracks immediately and as quickly as possible. B. Always stop before crossing the tracks. C. Prepare to yield to any train at the crossing. D. Speed up to beat any oncoming train. If pedestrians are illegally crossing in the middle of the street instead of in a crosswalk, you A. Must stop for them. B. Do not have to stop for them. C. Should honk your horn at them. A. Must stop for them. You must yield to pedestrians at all times. If the pedestrians are jaywalking or crossing the street where they should not be, you must still stop for them. You can help keep the driver behind you a safe distance away from your vehicle by A. Driving 10 miles per hour faster than the car behind you. B. Driving 10 miles per hour slower than the car behind you. C. Maintaining a steady speed. C. Maintaining a steady speed. It is not always easy to maintain a safe distance behind your vehicle. However, you can help keep the driver behind you a safe distance away from your vehicle by maintaining a steady speed and signaling turns, lane changes, and deceleration in advance. When passing another vehicle, you should return to your original lane when A. You can see both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rear-view mirror. B. You have cleared the front bumper of the passed vehicle. C. You are 50 feet in front of the passed vehicle. A. You can see both headlights of the passed vehicle in your rear-view mirror. When passing another vehicle, move back into your original lane only when you can see the passed vehicle's headlights in your rear-view mirror. This ensures that you will have enough room to safely pull back in front of the other vehicle.
Want to ace your DMV test? Click on the link below and get your guaranteed cheat sheet.
This sign tells a driver that A. A construction flagger is ahead. B. A police officer is ahead. C. A parking attendant is ahead. A. A construction flagger is ahead. This sign warns that there is a flag person ahead. Always follow directions given by a flagger. Flaggers normally wear orange or yellow vests, yellow-green shirts, or bright jackets. They use paddles and red flags to direct traffic through the work zone and to let workers or construction vehicles cross the road. Should you always drive more slowly than other traffic? A. No, you can block traffic when you drive too slowly. B. Yes, it is a good defensive driving technique. C. Yes, it is always safer than driving faster than other traffic. A. No, you can block traffic when you drive too slowly. You must drive more slowly than usual when there is heavy traffic or bad weather. However, if you block the normal and reasonable movement of traffic by driving too slowly, you may be cited. A work zone. A. May be moving or stationary. B. Is marked with black and white signs. C. Does not require a driver to slow down and pay extra attention. D. All of the above. A. May be moving or stationary. Work zones are often stationary, but they may also be present in the form of moving vehicles striping lines, mowing, or removing snow. Work zones are marked by orange signs with black lettering or symbols. Slow down and pay extra attention when approaching or driving through a work zone. At a school crossing sign, you should A. Always stop, whether there is a stop sign or not. B. Watch for children and be ready to stop. C. Always sound your horn when you see children. B. Watch for children and be ready to stop. Pentagonal signs mean you are approaching a school zone and/or school crossing. When you see these signs, be alert and prepare to stop. When passing an animal which is being driven, ridden, or led down a public road, drivers should A. Increase their speed. B. Slow down. C. Honk their horn. D. Ride next to the animal for as long as possible. B. Slow down. An alert motorist can prevent accidents by slowing down and proceeding cautiously when approaching animals. It is against the law to purposefully frighten any animal being ridden, driven, or led on or near a public roadway. If a crossing guard is directing traffic in a school zone, you must A. Follow the directions given by the crossing guard. B. Copy what surrounding traffic is doing, despite the crossing guard's instructions. C. Assume the guard is not supposed to be directing traffic. D. Follow rules that would be in place if no children were present. A. Follow the directions given by the crossing guard. Be prepared to reduce your speed and use caution when directed to do so by a sign, crossing guard, or law enforcement officer. Always drive with extra caution in a school zone. When approaching an intersection with a flashing red light, you must A. Come to a complete stop. Yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians, then proceed. B. Reduce your speed and proceed with caution. C. Come to a complete stop and remain stopped as long as the light is red. A. Come to a complete stop. Yield to oncoming traffic and pedestrians, then proceed. A flashing red traffic light means the same thing as a stop sign. When arriving at an intersection with a flashing red light, you must come to a full stop and proceed when it is safe to do so. When a school bus is picking up or dropping off children, you must A. Stop, regardless of your direction of travel. B. Stop if you are driving in the same direction. C. Slow down and be prepared to stop. A. Stop, regardless of your direction of travel. When approaching a school bus that is picking up or dropping off passengers, you must come to a complete stop before reaching the bus, regardless of your direction of travel. To avoid the need for last-minute braking and turning, you should consistently look down the road. Fill in the blank. Ahead of your vehicle. A. 1 to 3 seconds. B. 5 to 7 seconds. C. 10 to 15 seconds. D. 20 seconds. C. 10 to 15 seconds. To avoid the need for last-minute braking or turning, consistently look down the road 10 to 15 seconds ahead of your vehicle. Avoiding last-minute decisions will give drivers around you more time to safely react to your movements. Reaction time is slower after A. Drinking alcohol. B. Sleeping. C. Working hard. A. Drinking alcohol. Alcohol slows your reflexes and reaction time, reduces your ability to see clearly, and makes you less alert. As the amount of alcohol in your body increases, your judgment worsens and your driving skills decrease. You will have trouble judging distances, speeds, and the movement of other vehicles. In traffic moving at 50 to 55 miles per hour, you are least likely to have an accident if you A. Drive a few miles per hour faster than most other vehicles. B. Stay within that speed range. C. Drive a few miles per hour slower than most other vehicles. If two drivers arrive at the same time to an open intersection, A. The driver on the right has the right of way. B. The driver on the left has the right of way. C. One driver may continue driving without stopping. D. One driver should honk to indicate that they are giving up the right of way. A. The driver on the right has the right of way. If you arrive to an open intersection at the same time as a vehicle to your right, you should yield the right of way to that vehicle. You may then proceed when it is safe to do so. When sharing the road with a truck, it is important to remember that trucks generally A. Require longer distances to stop than smaller vehicles do. B. Require less time to pass on a downgrade than smaller vehicles do. C. Require a smaller turning radius than smaller vehicles do. D. Require less time to pass on an incline than smaller vehicles do. This road sign means A. Drive with caution and be ready to stop. B. You must come to a complete stop. C. Stop, if necessary. B. You must come to a complete stop. The stop sign is the only 8-sided sign you will see on any roadway. When you encounter a stop sign, you must come to a complete stop. You may not proceed until the way is clear for you to completely and safely pass through the intersection. This road sign means A. Sharp right turn. B. A road joins from the right. C. The road ahead turns sharply right, then sharply left. D. Winding road ahead. C. The road ahead turns sharply right, then sharply left. This sign indicates that the road ahead turns sharply to the right and then sharply to the left. A red traffic signal light means that you must A. Stop at the stop line. B. Stop before entering any crosswalk. C. Stop before entering the intersection. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. A red traffic light means that you must stop before entering the intersection. You must at any stop line and before entering any crosswalk. When backing up, you should A. Drive much more slowly than usual. B. Drive faster than usual. A. Drive much more slowly than usual. Your car is much harder to control and stop while you are backing. Back up no faster than a slow walk. Collisions are more likely to happen when A. All vehicles are traveling at about the same speed. B. One lane of traffic is traveling faster than the other lanes. C. One vehicle is traveling faster or slower than the flow of traffic. C. One vehicle is traveling faster or slower than the flow of traffic. Collisions are more likely to happen when one driver moves faster or slower than the other vehicles on the road. Driving faster than other traffic increases your chance of being involved in a collision. Driving more slowly than other traffic is also dangerous because it can increase the risk of a rear-end collision with your vehicle or cause other drivers to swerve to avoid hitting you. This bicyclist is signaling A. A left turn. B. An upcoming stop. C. A right turn. A left turn. Bicycles do not have turn signals, so bicyclists use hand and arm signals to alert other drivers to their intentions. If a bicyclist puts their left arm straight out, they are signaling that they intend to turn left. In which of the following scenarios should your wheels not be pointed straight ahead? A. When waiting to make a left turn at a traffic light. B. When parked on a hill or sloping driveway. C. When parked on the side of a level roadway where there is no curb. B. When parked on a hill or sloping driveway. While waiting to turn left, keep your wheels pointed straight ahead until it is safe to start your turn. If a vehicle hits you from behind, this will prevent you from veering into oncoming traffic. When parked facing either uphill or downhill, turn the wheels so the vehicle will not roll into traffic if the brakes fail. Passing is prohibited. A. On hills and curves. B. At intersections. C. At railroad crossings. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Locations where it is unlawful and unsafe to pass another vehicle include hills, curves, intersections, and railroad crossings. Excessive speed. A. Saves time so you can get to your destination more quickly. B. Helps you maneuver around obstacles. C. Increases the likelihood of serious bodily injury and death. C. Increases the likelihood of serious bodily injury and death. Excessive speed is one of the most common contributing factors to vehicle crashes. Excessive speed does not save time and often leads to high-risk decision-making. This road sign means A. Steep grade ahead. B. Pedestrian crossing ahead. C. Low ground railroad crossing. D. Low clearance. D. Low clearance. This sign indicates that the overpass ahead has a low clearance. You should not proceed if your vehicle is taller than the height shown on the sign, in this case, 13 feet 6 inches. If a green arrow turns into a solid green light, you A. May still turn, but you must yield to oncoming traffic. B. May no longer turn and must proceed straight. C. Still have the right of way to turn. D. No longer have to turn in the direction that the arrow indicated. A. May still turn, but you must yield to oncoming traffic. If a green arrow turns into a solid green light, you may still turn in the direction that the arrow was pointing, but you must first yield to pedestrians and oncoming traffic. Only fill in the blank can lower blood alcohol concentration, BAC, and reduce alcohol's effects on a body. A. Drinking caffeine. B. Eating foods high in fat. C. Time. C. Time. The only way to sober up after drinking alcohol is to allow time for your body to eliminate the alcohol in your system. Nothing you can do, including eating and drinking, can accelerate this process. You should not begin to pass another vehicle if you don't have the space to return to your lane. A. True. B. False. A. True. Don't pull out to pass another vehicle unless you know you have enough space to return to your lane. Don't count on having enough time to pass several cars at once, and don't count on other drivers making room for you to re-enter the lane. When driving in work zones, you should A. Increase your speed to get through the zone as quickly as possible. B. Reduce your speed and be prepared to stop suddenly. C. Maintain your normal speed the whole way through the zone. B. Reduce your speed and be prepared to stop suddenly. When entering and driving through a work zone, slow down and be prepared to stop. Obey posted speed limits and be alert to conditions around you. Workers could be present. What color are pavement markings that separate traffic lanes moving in opposite direction? A. Yellow. B. White. C. Yellow and white. D. Yellow, white, and black. A. Yellow. Yellow lines are used in the center of the road to separate lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions. When you see this sign, you must A. Stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic. B. Slow down without coming to a complete stop. C. Stop completely and wait for a green light. D. Slow down and check for traffic. A. Stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic. Any 8-sided sign is a stop sign. At an intersection with a stop sign, you must stop completely and check for pedestrians and cross traffic in the intersection. Wait for the intersection to clear before proceeding. If involved in an accident, a driver should A. Stop their vehicle at or near the scene. B. Not stand or walk in traffic lanes. C. Turn off the ignitions of wrecked vehicles. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. If you are involved in an accident, you must stop at or near the scene. Move your vehicle out of the way of traffic, if possible. Do not stand or walk in traffic lanes as you could be struck by another vehicle. Turn off the ignitions of wrecked vehicles. This sign means A. All traffic must turn left. B. No left turn. C. No U-turn. B. No left turn. This sign means drivers cannot make a left turn. It is unsafe and unlawful to make a left turn at an intersection where this sign is posted. What is the first thing you should try if your headlights fail? A. Try the dimmer switch. B. Put on your emergency flashers. C. Turn the headlight switch on and off. A. Try the dimmer switch. If your headlights fail, first try the dimmer switch. This will often turn them on again. When driving under snowy or icy conditions. A. It is safe to use your cruise control. B. Make speed and directional changes more gradually than you would otherwise. C. Drive as you would under normal conditions. B. Make speed and directional changes more gradually than you would otherwise. When driving under snowy or icy conditions, you should make speed and directional changes gradually. Never use cruise control when driving on snow or ice because your tires may lose contact with the road and you will lose control of your vehicle. This road sign means A. The road ahead curves right. Slow down to the safe speed indicated. B. Divided highway begins. Slow down to the safe speed indicated. C. Merge. Slow down to the safe speed indicated. D. Winding road ahead. Slow down to the safe speed indicated. A. The road ahead curves right. Slow down to the safe speed indicated. These signs indicate that the road curves to the right ahead and that drivers should slow down to the safe speed indicated, in this case, 35 miles per hour. Which is not a factor in determining the distance that it takes to stop your vehicle. A. Steering ability. B. Braking distance. C. Reaction distance. D. Perception time. A. Steering ability. The distance required to stop your vehicle depends on perception time, reaction distance, and braking distance. This changes with speed and road conditions. You are driving when it starts to sleet or snow. You should A. Keep your windshield and mirrors clear. B. Allow additional distance between your vehicle and the vehicles that you are following. C. Approach all vehicles with caution. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. In snowy weather, keep your windshield and mirrors clear. Increase your following distance when driving in wet and cold weather because a slippery road surface will increase the distance needed for your vehicle to stop. If the rear of your vehicle is skidding to the left, you should A. Not turn your steering wheel. B. Turn your steering wheel to the left to correct the skid. C. Turn your steering wheel to the right to correct the skid. B. Turn your steering wheel to the left to correct the skid. If you begin to skid on a wet or icy road, take your foot off the accelerator, stay off the brakes, and turn your steering wheel in the direction of the skid. However, if you have anti-lock brakes, you should apply your brakes firmly and steer straight ahead. You may avoid the risks of alcohol-related crashes by A. Deciding before you start drinking that you are not going to drive. B. Simply saying, "No thanks, I'm driving," if someone offers you a drink. C. Calling a taxi. D. Doing any of the above. If you are following a school bus or tank truck, you should A. Pass them on the right. B. Be prepared to stop at all railroad crossings. C. Expect them to drive above the speed limit. D. Decrease your following distance. B. Be prepared to stop at all railroad crossings. School buses and tank trucks carrying flammable liquids must stop at all railroad tracks before crossing, regardless of the presence of a train. Be prepared to stop at all railroad crossings if following one of these vehicles. This sign means A. Trucks are permitted on an upcoming narrow bridge. B. The bridge ahead is open to one-way traffic only. C. The bridge ahead is wide enough for only one car at a time. D. The bridge ahead may be too narrow to meet or pass a truck. D. The bridge ahead may be too narrow to meet or pass a truck. Warning signs are used to warn drivers about upcoming hazardous conditions and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign warns drivers that an upcoming bridge may be too narrow to meet or pass a truck and that they should be careful. Drivers turning left must yield to A. Oncoming vehicles traveling straight or turning right. B. Passing cars. C. No one in particular. When you hear the siren or see the flashing lights of an approaching emergency vehicle, you must A. Slow down until it passes you. B. Drive to the right side of the road and stop. C. Motion for the emergency vehicle to pass you. D. Merge into the right lane and continue driving. B. Drive to the right side of the road and stop. Yield the right-of-way to any approaching emergency vehicle that is using its flashing lights or siren, regardless of its direction of travel. You must immediately drive to the right side of the road and stop until the emergency vehicle has passed. If you are within an intersection, pass through the intersection before coming to a stop on the right side of the road. If a truck or bus is making a right turn where you also need to make a right turn, you should A. Quickly turn before the truck or bus is able to. B. Wait until the truck or bus turns before you turn. C. Squeeze between the truck or bus and the curb. B. Wait until the truck or bus turns before you turn. If you try to insert your vehicle between a turning truck or bus and a curb, you may suffer a serious crash. To avoid a collision, do not turn until the truck or bus has completed its turn. Roads freeze quickly when they are A. Flat, B. Curvy, C. In the sun, D. Shaded. D. Shaded. In cold or wet weather, you should take special care on sections of road that are shaded by trees or buildings. These areas freeze more quickly than the rest of the road and are the last parts of the road to dry. Which of the following commonly causes traffic accidents? A. Inattentive driving. B. Excessive speed under the driving conditions. C. Following other vehicles too closely. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. Driving too fast for conditions is a major cause of motor vehicle crashes. Being inattentive to surroundings can cause a driver to collide with other vehicles. Most rear-end collisions are caused by drivers following other vehicles too closely. Highway hypnosis is a driving condition that can result from A. Staring at the roadway for long periods of time. B. Frequent rest stops. C. Too much sleep the night before your trip. D. Short trips on expressways. It is dangerous to follow a motorcycle too closely because A. They do not follow the same rules as motor vehicles. B. A motorcycle can stop much faster than a standard vehicle. C. They brake more slowly than motor vehicles. B. A motorcycle can stop much faster than a standard vehicle. Motorcycles can stop quickly and following them too closely endangers your life and that of the motorcyclist. If the motorcyclist makes a mistake, you need to have enough time and space to avoid a crash. When entering a highway from an entrance ramp, you should generally A. Enter above the speed of traffic to get ahead. B. Enter slowly to avoid other vehicles. C. Stop first, then slowly enter traffic. D. Accelerate to the speed of traffic. D. Accelerate to the speed of traffic. Entrance ramps for highways often have acceleration lanes. When merging with traffic from an acceleration lane, you should put your signal on, look for an opening in traffic, accelerate up to the speed of traffic, and merge into an opening in traffic. If you are involved in a serious motor vehicle crash, A. Stop. B. Call the police. C. Determine if anyone is injured. D. All of the above. D. All of the above. If you are involved in a crash, move your vehicle off of the road and stop, if possible. If anyone is injured, call 911 and provide appropriate help. You must report the crash to law enforcement if there is an injury, a death, and/or more than $1,000 in property damage. or more than $200 worth of damage made to non-vehicle government property, such as signs or guardrails. Talking or texting on a cell phone while driving will not significantly increase your chances being involved in a crash. A. True. B. False. B. False. Using a phone while driving is a distraction that increases your risk of being involved in a crash. If an officer is directing traffic at a working traffic light, drivers should: A. Follow the directions indicated by the traffic light. B. Follow the directions given by the officer. C. Honk at the officer. D. Check to see what the cars next to them are doing. When passing another vehicle. A. Pass the vehicle as slowly as possible. B. Drive at the same speed as the vehicle you are passing. C. Pass the vehicle as safely and as quickly as possible. C. Pass the vehicle as safely and as quickly as possible. When passing another vehicle that is traveling in the same direction as you, pass quickly to resume visibility. Return to your previous lane only when you can see both of the vehicle's headlights in your rearview mirror. You can drive off the road to pass another vehicle. A. If the vehicle ahead is turning left. B. If there are two or more lanes traveling in your direction. C. Under no circumstances. C. Under no circumstances. You may never drive off the paved or main traveled portion of the road and onto the shoulder to pass another vehicle. Traffic signals sometimes display arrows to control turns from specific lanes. A green arrow, A, is used only on one-way streets. B, has the same meaning as a circular green traffic light, but traffic must turn in the direction indicated by the arrow. C, means that you may proceed, but only if the green arrow is accompanied by a circular green light. D, points the way to an airport. B, has the same meaning as a circular green traffic light, but traffic must turn in the direction indicated by the arrow. A green arrow has the same meaning as a circular green traffic light, but traffic in the indicated lane must turn in the direction shown by the arrow. If a vehicle starts to skid on water, the driver should quickly apply the brakes. A, true. B, false. B, false. If a vehicle skids while hydroplaning, the driver should try to regain control of the vehicle. If that is not possible, the driver should release the accelerator and ride out the skid. The driver should not immediately apply the brakes. This road sign means: A. Highway entrance ramp. B. Road widens. C. Right lane ends. C. Right lane ends. Warning signs provide notice to road users of a situation that might not be readily apparent and are usually yellow with black markings. This sign alerts drivers to the right lane ending and tells them to prepare for potential merging traffic.